Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we've got all the latest Manchester United transfer news you need to know. From Ruben Amorim's instant decision on a key target to updates on Patrick Dorgu, we'll break down everything that's happening as the January transfer window closes. Man United news. Ruben Amorim makes instant decision as Patrick Dorgu assessment given. Manchester United are still alive in 2 cup competitions this season, overcoming Leicester City on Friday to move into the 4th round of the FA. But they still have work to do this term. Harry Maguire's late header made the difference, with United coming from behind to book their place in the 5th round. They are also already through to the Europa League round of 16, where they will take on one of Ajax, Galatasaray, Real Sociedad or Midtjylland. The Friday night game brought a debut for Patrick Dorgu, who played 45 minutes after joining from Lecce shortly before transfer deadline day. Fellow new arrival Aiden Heaven was named among the substitutes, but didn't make it onto the pitch. Amorim's telling decision. Ruben Amorim didn't let his Manchester United players rest after their win over Leicester, putting them through their paces with some post-match training. While a post-match warm-down is a common sight, this was a little bit more intense. Working for the badge. A social media post from the club read, some of the United squad completed a full training session at Old Trafford following the full-time whistle on Friday. Rasmus Højlund and Toby Collier were spotted among the group putting in the extra yards. While young midfielder Collier was an unused substitute against the Foxes, Højlund had played the full 90 minutes. Dorgu verdict given. Former Manchester United stars Roy Keane and Paul Scholes were confused by Amorim's decision to play debutant Dorgu as a right wing-back, rather than on the left. Inverted wing-backs, you saw it at Old Trafford first. Scholes wrote on Instagram, while Keane's verdict came from the ITV studio during the broadcaster's coverage of the tie. There is a lack of belief, lack of confidence, the Irishman said. They've brought new players in, you're thinking he's Dorgu going to play in his position and he's playing right wing-back. You think, is that unfair on players? And you look at the urgency for Leicester's goal, it's given away cheaply, people not staying with their runners. I just look at it from United's point of view and think, my goodness, is this what it's come to? Antony impresses again. Antony's loan move to Real Betis wasn't mourned too much by Manchester United fans, but the winger has found a new lease on life in Spain. After being named man of the match on his Betis debut, the Brazilian scored his first goal for the club on Saturday. Less than 10 minutes were on the clock when Antony found space inside the Celta Vigo box and fired beyond home keeper Vicente Guaita. Betis doubled their lead midway. Manchester United can still complete one final transfer this month, and it would save them millions. Casemiro's Man United career is slowly coming to an end under Ruben Amorim, but there is still time for him to leave the club before the end of the season. Departures were unsurprisingly the dominant theme as far as Manchester United's work in the January transfer window was concerned, and there could still be time for one more. The January window in Turkey opened 12 days after England's opened, meaning it will not slam shut until Tuesday evening. It means clubs in Turkey still have time to strengthen their squads ahead of the remainder of the season. United have done business with Turkish clubs in the recent past, with Altay Bayındır swapping Fenerbahçe for Old Trafford and Fred heading in the opposite direction. Other former United players have moved to Turkey after leaving Old Trafford, such as Juan Mata and Eric Bailly. And with the Turkish market still open for business for a few more days, Casemiro is being linked with a move to the Super League. Reports elsewhere have linked the midfield enforcer with Besiktas. Besiktas are now under the stewardship of former United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the prospect of Casemiro linking up with the Norwegian would be a story in itself, despite their paths never crossing at Old Trafford. Casemiro has featured in just 2 of United's opening 9 matches of 2025, playing a paltry 19 minutes. The Brazilian has entered the final 18 months of his contract at Old Trafford, and there is no chance of it being renewed or the additional year option being triggered. He will turn 33 later this month, and United are planning for the future under head coach Ruben Amorim. Casemiro did a sterling job in his first season at United, developing a wonderful relationship with Christian Eriksen in midfield, and he was a massive part of the success the club enjoyed in the maiden season of the Erik ten Hag era. However, the midfield destroyer was always a short-term fix. Casemiro joined United after his 30th birthday, signing a 4-year deal. It was a deal that made sense at the time, with United in desperate need of a world-class destroyer to sit at the base of their midfield. His performance levels have been on the decline for well over a year, and that is to be expected as he approaches his 33rd birthday. United tied him down to a long-term deal and now find themselves in a position where the head coach no longer sees him as a key player. Having played just once since the turn of the year, the former Real Madrid man's valuation is plummeting. If no Turkish takers come forward in the next few days, United will have to try and shift the Brazilian in the summer. Amid the fact his contract is up in 2026, this coming summer's window will represent United's last real chance to sell him. It will be in United's and Casemiro's best interests to part ways if an offer from Turkey presents itself ahead. Fabrizio Romano reveals Man United had sights set on winter move for PSG, Nottingham Forest target. Wolverhampton Wanderers' Matheus Cunha was a major talking point during the winter transfer window, but the Premier League club recently secured his future with a long-term contract extension. Even so, speculation around his next move hasn't died down. Cunha has quickly established himself as a key player for Wolves, thriving in multiple attacking roles. Whether playing as an attacking midfielder, supporting striker, or center forward, the Brazilian has adapted seamlessly and made a strong impact. His performances haven't gone unnoticed, with top clubs like Arsenal, Chelsea, and Paris Saint-Germain reportedly showing interest, according to Fishages. While Wolves hold him in high regard, reports suggest they could consider offers exceeding €70 million. Sky Sports News also reported that Nottingham Forest made a club record bid of around £60 million in an attempt to lure the forward away from Molineux. Manchester United wanted to pull double swoop. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano revealed that Manchester United showed interest in signing Douglas Luiz and Matheus Cunha in December, but decided against making a formal approach in January due to the high costs. According to a recent report from the Daily Mail, the Brazilian forward has a €74 million release clause, and Wolves aren't willing to accept much less. Wolves are fighting to avoid relegation, and the clubs interested in the Brazilian hope they go down to the Championship, making it easier to move for Cunha. Man United could capitalize on gentleman's agreement to finally sign 15-assist January target who got away. Manchester United could be given another chance to sign this long-standing transfer target. Manchester United could be looking at a busy summer transfer window following their minimal action on the signing front this winter. The Red Devils signed off on multiple exits, including Marcus Rashford's loan move to Aston Villa, but only 2 new faces came through the door. After bringing in both Aiden Heaven and Patrick Dorgu late on in the window, the Red Devils are already being linked with potential summer recruits. One man who has been on their radar for some time now is Xavi Simons, who made a surprise permanent move to RB Leipzig in January from Paris Saint-Germain. Despite only just arriving in Germany full-time, a report has already suggested he could be on the move again at the end of the season, which could perk up United's ears once again. Leipzig likely to sell United target Xavi Simons. According to Bild's Christian Falk, Simons could be headed for the door almost as quickly as he came in. Informing Caught Offside, the transfer expert said, "It's looking likely that Leipzig will sell Xavi Simons in the summer transfer window. It was a little bit surprising that Leipzig committed to a permanent deal with Simons. At the beginning, they didn't think they'd get this chance, but they did it for €50 million, £42 million, which isn't a lot for this kind of player. His contract, of course, isn't that long, running just until 2027. So, you see, his stock is rising. Leipzig are thinking they have signed a player for €50 million, £42 million, who has the potential to be an €80 million, £67 million player, so they could earn a lot of money on a potential sale. I'm sure there's a gentleman's agreement or a release clause, which would see Simons sold in the summer." Simons made the permanent move to the Bundesliga outfit following 2 back-to-back loan spells. Man United, still keen on Xavi Simons. Falk went on to mention both Manchester sides and rivals Liverpool in the chase for Simons' signature this summer. Liverpool are interested, as are Manchester City and Manchester United. Xavi Simons won't stay at Leipzig for his whole career, but everyone already knows that. Leipzig had the chance because PSG were happy to sell as they can't loan so many players in Europe. They're only allowed 6. It's great news for Leipzig, as they've brought in another high-quality player, and if he has to leave, they can now earn a lot of money. Good deal. Earlier in January, Spanish outlet Sport reported that Bayern Munich and United were among the leading clubs in the race to sign Simons. Both sides were described as very attentive to the situation, despite Leipzig edging themselves in front to snag his signature in the end. The report claimed that Simons is a long-standing target for United, and they would be willing to try again to sign him in the next transfer market.